What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. So if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, then you know that I preach from the rooftops the value of SEO in filling your practice. But with that said, I've heard from many therapists now that they're afraid they can't start a private practice because they're not tech savvy, or they just don't want to deal with technology, and therefore they're afraid that they're not able to fill their practice. And that is not true. You can absolutely fill your practice with non-technology based strategies. And in this video, I'm going to go over some ways you can go about filling your practice without hardly touching technology nearly at all. So if you're interested in learning about that, then stay tuned. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. When I first started my private practice in San Jose in 2016, I used a two-prong approach to filling my practice. On the one hand, I leveraged SEO to fill my practice and all of those techie fun things in order to get clients to find me, but I also leveraged a bunch of old school strategies that involved no use of technology at all. So I'm going to share some tools in this video that you can use to leverage to fill your practice without hardly touching technology at all. Let's get into some of those tips. Now, this first tip applies to all of us in private practice, regardless of whether we're leveraging technology or not, but it's so important that I need to name it first here in this list, is if you're wanting to fill your practice without touching technology at all, you absolutely need to know your brand. The reason why it's not only super important, but essential to know what your brand is when you're wanting to fill your practice is if you don't know what your brand is, or in other words, if you don't know what your practice's mission statement is, then other people aren't really going to know what you're about. You're not going to stand out in other people's memories when they're thinking of who to refer to or who to reach out to, and it's just going to be kind of unclear what you do and what you're about. So if you're wanting some help in the branding step, whether you're using technology or not to fill your practice, I've linked to a whole bunch of videos below to help you with your branding. And knowing your brand is essential for the next tip, which is to find your tribe. And by tribe, I mean any folks in the community, particularly the local community, who have overlapping values or maybe similar mission statements, whether it's for their own therapy practices, whether it's community centers or other brands, other services, companies, you name it. Other folks in the community who share similar values, maybe they serve a similar population that you do, or just wanting to be movers and shakers in the same arenas that you're wanting to help folks in your private practice. That might sound really vague, so let me give an example from my own practice and how I found folks in my tribe in order to help fill my practice. So one area that I specialize in as a therapist in my practice is serving folks who identify both as Christian and LGBTQ. So one critical part of finding folks in my tribe was finding the very few local churches who also were LGBTQ affirming. So once I was able to find those churches, I started to connect with the church clergy, naming our shared value of serving LGBTQ folks who also identify as Christian. Now you can see here, because I'm serving a very specific community, finding other people in my tribe, in this case church clergy who are serving the same community that I am, can be really exciting. It's helpful for me to make that connection so we can collaborate and serve this community together. But those folks were also really excited to hear from me because it's not always easy to find a therapist to refer to. So there is a natural connection that wants to happen between us in this scenario because we're from the same tribe. Now, once you've built those genuine, authentic connections with fellow members of your tribe, whether they're therapists or not, then you want to ask the question, where is there a need in this community that I can help fill? We don't want to go up to people who are potential referral sources and say, hello, I'm Dr. So-and-so. Hello, I'm therapist so-and-so. Here's my credentials. Here's my expertise. Please send me clients. We want to foster genuine, authentic relationships because one, that's really helpful to have the authentic, genuine relationship in and of itself. We need support, and they do too. But also, those genuine relationships are about serving a need in the community rather than just saying, give me all your clients, please, thank you. So once you are connected with other folks in your tribe, then you can start to see where there are needs in the community that you can help fill. So going back to that example that I already started sharing about how I connected with local church clergy sort of in my tribe, not only did I enjoy taking them out to coffee or lunch and just getting to know them, because I genuinely did enjoy that. That's kind of the idea of finding people in your tribe, is you actually want to be their friend. But then I would get to know what sorts of needs they noticed in their community, and I started to ask how I could potentially solve the problems they were noticing pop up in their community. And this leads us to our next tip. You want to pick something that aligns with what you're good at and what you enjoy. So the ways that I sought solving the problem in the community might look different than ways that you might offer to help solve a problem. But for me, I really love teaching, if you haven't been able to tell by this YouTube channel. So the strategy I would use is, once I noticed a problem in that church community of the clergy I was connecting with that I felt like I was equipped to help solve or offer some bits of a solution for, I would offer a free workshop and say, hey, if you ever want me to come teach on this topic, here, I have some expertise here. I'm happy to do it for free so that I can help meet that need in your community. I was benefiting the community. Some of those folks aren't going to be able to afford my services, but they can still benefit from my expertise. Some of those folks are going to attend the workshop and say, whoa, I really like this girl. I wonder if she can help me more with this issue, and inevitably reach out and want to book with me. And I also get referrals directly from the church clergy, because they've built so much trust with them that whenever a member of their community comes to them asking for help, even if they didn't attend the workshop that I gave, the clergy is very likely to recommend me as a therapist, potentially before recommending anybody else. So I've kind of built trust now, not just with this one person landing on my website, for example, but with an entire community. And then I can become the kind of go-to therapist for a specific type of problem that aligns with my business's brand. I tell this story not as a prescriptive format of telling you need to now go to whether it's church, clergy, or businesses and offer free workshops. The free workshops was something that aligned with what I like to do, what I'm good at, and also it didn't involve any technology. So you can totally do this too if you don't want to touch any technology. I mean, the extent of technology I used was like emailing church clergy and swiping my credit card to buy them coffee. Figuring out some ways that you can help meet the need in the community that you wish to serve does involve a little bit of creativity and brainstorming, but I bet that if you get to know what the needs are in the community, you'll start to see ways that you can help address them with your own skills and talents. Well, whether you're thinking about starting your practice and technology has been a scary sort of barrier keeping you from getting started, or maybe you've been in practice for some time and you could use some extra marketing tools that align with who you are, then I hope that you found this video helpful. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes helps with scheduling, notes, and billing. They have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform built right into their system. And yes, it uses technology, but I assure you, once you get started, you spend a little bit of time getting to know the software, it's going to make your life a lot easier than using a pen and paper system. If you'd like to check out Therapy Notes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, let me know in the comments what sorts of old school, non-technology strategies you've used to help market and fill your practice, because I'm sure other people could really glean from your wisdom as well. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well. Now, if you need a little help finding other folks in your tribe, hello?
Sorry. I just have to get a power cable by.
Okay, bye.